get started. So thank you everyone for joining this session today. As many of you know, this is the last BeSA session for the first batch. There will be other things, but today is the last session, and congrats for joining because we have a special guest. As you can see, we have Marco today. So Marco is an ex senior manager at AWS. He is now a CTO, a big title. And so Marco essentially is the person who hired Alex and Jamila and myself. We have a tremendous respect for him. And Marco, we're so happy that you could make it, spend your your time with us and the community this weekend. And you also have the BeSA team. Ashish is not there with us today, but you have, and James is not there as well, but you have the rest of the team, and we'll be there to answer the questions on the chat as always and share good stuff. So as part of the agenda that we have today, we're going to start with our special guests. Ask questions. This is your time to ask questions to proper experts who have hired a lot of people. And there will be a bit of time for, survey to hear from you. What did you think about this program? What can we improve? We're going to do this live, so at least you don't have to do this this weekend. And we're also going to highlight some BeSA students who have achieved some good stuff. And we'll also talk about what's next. So yeah. Now, before we start, we have a little thing from someone who wanted to say thank you and goodbye. So there's a video from Ashish. He really wanted to share a few words with you. So I think it's nice if we can start with that.
Hello everyone.
Good.
How is everyone doing? Missing me? I've been missing BeSA program a lot. I was supposed to join the last session, but my travel plan has changed and now I would be returning a week later to UK, and that's why I could not be physically present into the program, but I'm recording a video so that I could at least communicate with you and thank you all for your support shown to the BeSA program. We hope that this program helped you in some ways and shape and form, probably to pass a certification or to get more insight or to get more technical knowledge, or at least to build a community which is helpful, which is eager to help each other, and which is thriving on the knowledge sharing. So we thank you for your participation in this program. Now the program is ending. It doesn't mean that we will not be reachable. Just feel free to reach out if you pass a certification, or if you pass an interview, or you move to the next round in the interview, or could not move into the next round of interview. Let's learn from it. Let's share that knowledge with everyone so that more and more people can benefit from it. And feel free to share your feedback. We thrive on feedback. Without feedback, we will never know what worked, what could be done better, what was not as expected. So feel free to share feedback, and we would be hopefully seeing you in some other session. We are planning for next cycle. No, nothing planned, nothing concrete as of now, but we will be planning next cycle, and we are looking forward for all the feedback to incorporate into our next session so that we could improve this and help more individuals like you. So thank you again for participation. This program would not have been possible without your active participation. So I appreciate you taking time on the weekend, and I hope to see you in some other session in some shape or form. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Thanks.
That was Ash, and now you guys all muted.
I actually miss him today.
Yeah,
No
me
jokes.
too. After that video, especially.
Yeah. Right.
And likewise.
So let's crack on with our first speaker.
Awesome. Marco, welcome on board. Super great to have you here. Good old days. As Chris already mentioned, Marco played a very important role in developing careers. Mine, JJ's, and Chris. So we were all on the same team at some point, and Marco hired all of us. All right. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thanks for inviting me. Really appreciate it. And it's amazing to see how many people are relying on you. And I mean, I have seen even some of the previous meetings, and it was really amazing. Really happy to see how these things is evolving, and happy to see you guys really cracking the nuts. And yeah, great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, Marco is not a stranger to our streams, so he was here occasionally pulling our leg, asking complicated questions on the chat, so we got some sweats on live. Yeah, great. So what we're gonna do, you know what we're gonna do, but for the audience, what we're gonna do, you're gonna have like a little bit of a fireside chat just to understand perspective of real SA managers, not only within AWS, because Marco has like huge career behind his back and even huger one in front of him. So Marco, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us about your career and how you got to this point where you are now?
Oh, thanks for asking, Alex. Just a comment, right? A long career in front of ahead of me. I hope it will be not that long it was before, but let's see how this will go. So yeah, as you can see, from my gray hair, I started a while ago. My first job was in a physical data center. So I don't know how many people here in this chat have seen a real data center, but nevertheless, my real first job was really as a sysadmin for a Novell network. Again, I'm not sure if any one of you knows Novell, and I was responsible for storage and backups. So really the basics, the hardcore of technology. And one thing that if you want to guess how old I am, one of the technology that I was managing at that time was like the physical tapes for doing backups of data. And the first technology that I handled was DLT 8000. That was an amazing, was capable to store 40 gig of data, right, using SCSI 2. I think that it was quite interesting. I would say that I was lucky enough because technology at that point in time was the end of the 1999, beginning of 2000 was really sparking up. Nowadays, everyone talk about digital transformation, but really at that time, there was the one of first wave of transformation because basically companies were moving from papers to technology somehow. SAP was already mainstream, so many of the company were on the transformation of their process, etc., etc. So quite interesting. After spending this initial part of my career in the data center, I moved to consultancy, and there I had the opportunity to broaden a little bit my view of things, really to go a little bit deeper in how technology was capable to support business processes. And it was really nice to look after the pure technology, right? I'm a geek, right? I really like technology at the core, but that point in time, I was really capable to see how technology was supporting banking, financial services, editorials, newspaper, etc., etc. So really eye opener for me, and this was one of the key points for me, giving me the opportunity to understand what I would like to do in the future, what would be my impact in the future, and really giving even the opportunity that now I'm capable to teach, if I can say, or share my experience with young talents, right? To look after the technology per se, because technology per se is not moving the needle. Technology per se is great when you are playing at home in your room or whatever you are doing, your small projects, right? But you need to start always, which is the business problem or which is the biggest problem that you want to solve, and how technology can support it. So really eye opener for me, and I think that was really one of the corner points of my career. After that, in 2010, I moved first time to work in a enterprise customer. The enterprise customer is called Case New Holland. Case New Holland is part of the Chrysler Fiat aggregate, specifically focusing on agriculture. So the agriculture business again is quite interesting, because there is a lot of technology components on board of tractor, harvester, or whatever you see in the fields. So I had the opportunity to look into how farmer to make their job, and basically we get the food on our plates. But at the same time, was really interesting for me because I had one of the biggest failure in my career. And I bet every one of you had experienced a failure. I think that is at the point of the failure happening is maybe frustrating. But if you look this from the perspective about what you can learn and how you can leverage your learning to progress in your career or doing things better, was great. So basically what we have done is that we took technology as a technology and not keeping in mind that people are using technology and business is using technology. So we introduced what is called the manufacturing execution system in one of the biggest EMEA plants of Case New Holland. And I mean, the plant was built in 1906, so at the beginning of the previous last century, right? So, and was basically not touched since then. Of course, processes and things were changing, but I mean, from the physical structure and the physical buildings of the plant, nothing was changed. And introducing something that was supposed to automate the full supply chain of the building of harvester was quite a long shot, I would say. And what happened since then is that I remember that was the 1st January of 2013. I was at the airport flying to the plant because basically we stopped the production. And again, what I learned hard in the hard way, that every time that a real production system is down, you can count money they make, right? And just to give you an example, an harvester costs around 300K euros, right? And basically the plant was capable to produce, depending on the times, but was capable to produce between 6 and 15 harvester per day. So you can easily count, having the plant down for one day, how much was the cost. So the failure that was caused by that was because basically we believe that technology was abstracted from the humans. And we were pretty much arrogant, saying, okay, we will move from paperwork to technology work, but fail in the as I said, in the worst way. So we learn a lot, and this is why I'm always saying that you need to work backwards from the business problem, right? And this at the time I didn't know that was working backward, right? But I learned afterwards, because when Amazon start to talk all this as working backward methodology. But basically you need to understand which is the business problem, which are the biggest implications. So you need to look at the wider range of things, the ecosystem that is around, and see how technology can help from there. So this is why I make things quite interesting. I will take a pause here. Any question, anything that you want to dive deep, or I can continue because my career is quite long. I don't want to bother anyone
Yeah,
too
and
much.
with that, people were trying to make an educated guess there on the chat about the length of your career. So answers vary between 21 and 29. So at some point I've been thinking that they were making you a compliment about being 29 years old, but apparently they're guessing your career.
Yes, exactly. So I'm not 29. So
Yeah.
45. Oh, yes, you're right. 45 is my age. Yeah. So just to get to when I moved to AWS, right? So I spent another 5 years at Adidas. I was quite lucky because basically at that point in time there were a lot of changes. So seems the transformation is following me, right? Being always part of my career. So I understand when I joined Adidas is that the CEO was changing, so, and the CIO as well, and we started what everyone calls digital transformation. But this was really hardcore transformation because basically Adidas was, and it is, a retail company, really brick and mortar. But of course, at that point in time, 2010, was pretty much clear that being a brick and mortar company was not really forward looking, right? So we really start to insource the e-com. So the adidas.com that you see today on online, it's a part of the transformation. We started almost with zero software engineers, ending up when I left Adidas after 5 years around 300 software engineers, product led, all the e-commerce insourced. So quite a large transformation, really great experience, especially for me that I didn't come with any retail experience. Was great because I really understood the business. And as a pro tip, right, is don't be scared to jump in an industry where you don't have experience. This is this take this as an advantage, right? Really to learn how the business works, to learn how the customer interact with your business domain, and start from there. Because I mean, if I would not be curious, I would still being in the data center and changing maybe my tapes, right? So I was really open, always open to take challenges, learning new things. So really, really a good opportunity for every one of you. If you have this, please jump ahead, take it, and try to learn as much as you can.
This is awesome. So as far as I understood, so you're the guy partially responsible for those videos on TikTok. I know you're like laughing at TikTok, but I kind of watch it anyway. There are some quite a lot of videos, people really chilling in the tractors and harvesting crops and really not doing anything, and the machine just does everything automatically. So you're the guy kind of responsible for those videos. It's interesting to find out.
I mean, no, yeah, so Alex, this is quite interesting because at that point in time, already harvester were provided with autonomous rights, of course, based on GPS and based on other technologies. But no one at that point in time was mentioning. I mean, Tesla was not existing at all, right? But yeah, I mean, there is so much technology, and basically, when you are on this big, you have surrounded by technology. You have radars, you have scanners, you have everything. I mean, people is a very hard job because you spend hours inside the cabin, so you need to have all the comforts as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And the other thing I want to point out, especially to the audience, is that moment of earned trust where Marco, you know, like with all this large career behind Marco's back, still man's not shy to admit that there were some failures and stuff like that. So if you, in your working setting, or if you're going to the interview, don't try to be perfect. Nobody gonna believe it because we all do mistakes, and it's just gonna erode trust in the beginning. So this is like very well demonstrated. Thanks a lot. So it was unintentional. It's just I think in your DNA already.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Alex, so
Right.
you touch upon the point about how to tackle the interview as a candidate, right? So, I mean, this is a very good segue for this, right? And you mentioned
Absolutely.
about
So
not being perfect.
yeah,
Go ahead.
so like segueing to the interview. So let me ask you this. What do you look for when you're interviewing candidates? It's not only, you know, don't talk only about Amazon or AWS, of course, because again, you hired for different companies. I believe you're hiring for your current company too. So what is that you're looking for?
Yeah. So I think that besides the technical capabilities, I'm always looking at other things, right? So I'm looking at, first of all, about the motivation. Why someone want to join a company, right? Really to understand, and what I'm looking expecting that a candidate is a little bit noisy now. Just a second.
No
Yeah.
worries, we can still
So
hear you.
yeah. So I think that one of the things that I'm always looking is about motivation, as I said, and this is something that every candidate need to demonstrate. So please, every time that you are doing in an interview, spend time to understand the business of the company. Spend time to look at on Google or videos or whatsoever, learning how the company operates. If the executive are speaking around at conferences, if there is anything about their challenges, go on the public website and see how are the company values, and try to make make sure that when you are going through the interview, you demonstrate that you have spent this time, because it's really, really appreciated, right? So I think that this is one of the things that I'm looking. The second thing is that sometimes I'm really laughing at some job specs, because seems that everyone is looking for the perfect candidate. So the perfect candidate doesn't exist, right? I'm not looking at the expert. I have met a lot of people failed to demonstrate to be expert, because today technology is so broad, and the depth required is so big that no one can be the expert on everything. So what I'm trying to say is that every one of us has a background, every one of us has an expertise, every one of us has preferences based on your knowledge, based on whatever, right? So what I call this as a T shape, right? So the T is how is big your breadth, right? And the bottom of the T is how you can deep in some topic. And as you can imagine, especially when you are at the beginning of your career, your T is pretty small, right? So leverage this. Don't pretend to try to talk about everything, right? It's perfectly fine saying, oh, I don't know, this is not my area and expertise, right? So what I always warn everyone, don't guess, because if you are guessing an interview, um, this is a behavior that you might have normally, right? So we don't know, as an intern, right, as a manager, you don't know the person, and maybe the first time this is what counts. And if you see a person guessing since the interview, the first interview, then your assumption is that this person is guessing all the time. And especially when you are in a customer facing role or in a business role, I mean, guessing is not good, because people, they will trust you, and if you guess wrong, um, this will end not well, right? So I think that being yourself all the time and being honest is always the best approach. So I think that's the other thing that today I'm seeing more and more is over indexing on buzzword, right? So again, being very mindful about using buzzword, because buzzword, they can more questions, right? So I think that you need to be very, very mindful on this.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. There are some questions on the chat. I won't pick up all of them probably because we are short on time and we have so many things today packed. But just one interesting thing in your perspective, because some people might be in a worry a little bit because now they do a lot of effort to learn cloud skills, right? And the question is basically kind of hinting on that. If it's not going to be useless like that other framework which becomes deprecated after a year or two. So basically the question coming um, from the audience is that this move to the cloud, is it like a temporary thing? Do you think that on-prem data centers will move back at some point, like with this whole reorganization into hybrid cloud and private cloud for various use cases? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so from my perspective, and speaking about my personal perspective, I think that the trend to move to the cloud will not stop, right? What I'm currently seeing is that there are a couple of type of application or some rules, regulatory rules for some industries that they will still require to have an on-prem setup. So I think that for the next 4 or 5 years, still we will see a lot of hybrid. Still, there are a lot of industries that are at the early days moving to the cloud, right? So everyone now think that cloud is mainstream. Cloud is really not yet mainstream. There are still a lot of application running in data center for multiple reasons. If you just think that core banking is still running on a mainframe system, I mean, you can see how far the industry should still move, right? So I would seriously think and see that the market will be still hybrid. I don't see going back to the data centers unless some regulatory things will happen. I don't think that will gonna happen because this will be highly disruptive. So I think that the road to the cloud is well established. Still early days on that one. So a lot of opportunities for people looking at the cloud as to leverage the cloud for their career.
Let's pick another one here from the chat. Thanks for that. So Parna Mehta asking, if we have the knowledge, but we don't have recent or any hands-on experience on the job experience for the role we have applied for, how can we convince the interviewer, so potentially you, right, to take a chance on us to build those skills?
Yeah. So what I was saying, this is a very good question, because there are two ways of doing hiring, right? One is the potential of the person, right? Really based on the motivation, or because the companies, they have a really immediate need, right? So that's why I said at the beginning, do your research, try to look at the network, try to build the company that what you want to apply for. Because, for example, at my time at AWS, there are a lot of early careers, right, programs. So early career programs, basically they are looking for people that they have even a zero or little experience on the job, and this is perfect for this use case. If you are looking more at the enterprise level, again, do research about the company, about what the company is doing, where are the pain point of the company. Because, as I said, companies, they can hire two type of people: one for covering an immediate need, or future proof, right? So future proof would be a very good opportunity for the ones that they don't have a lot of experience. If they are looking to cover a problem, I mean, if you don't have a practical experience, the chance that you get hired is almost zero, right? So you don't need to convince anyone. You is I would say bilateral, right? I mean, you need to be happy to join the company, and the company need to be happy to hire you. So you don't need to try to convince anyone of things that you don't know. You need to be yourself. You need to show that you can bring something. And then if you will just don't get this personal, right? Don't get obsessed with the fact, oh, I don't have experience, I will never find a job, right? Try to target the job that you are looking at based on your experience and your expectations, and I think that you will be successful. So you need to build up your career. You cannot start at the end. You need to build up. You need to have clear what you want to achieve, and I'm pretty much sure that with this planning, every one of you will be able to achieve your goals.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that. And on that note, the other question I want to ask you is, what if a candidate applies to AWS or AWS related roles in some other company, and be it a partner, be it just some software house which uses AWS extensively, and they don't really have that AWS knowledge. They come from on-prem backgrounds, so they've been juggling those servers as you used to do, and basically, like, your career is hinting already on the answer to this question. How important this AWS proficiency is actually. So if the role is AWS, but you're good in cloud, in not in cloud in particular, but on-prem technology and in general computer science, is there still a way?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, having knowledge about network, storage, backup, so traditional on-prem things, or anything else, security, is part of the T-shape that I was mentioning at the beginning, right? So I think that there are open at AWS, but even in other company, very specific roles, right? That are more what we call specialists, right? So people that they have a profound knowledge about storage, for example. There are tons, even in AWS, tons of role for people specifically with storage. So what I'm saying here is, don't be obsessed to demonstrate your cloud knowledge, because I mean, cloud is not rocket science. Everyone can learn cloud. So again, target the role based on your experience, understanding what is the requirement, and I think that you can build up your knowledge on the cloud, both on your personal time, right, studying, as many of you are doing, but even giving an opportunity to join a company that maybe is moving to the cloud, where you can learn on the job. you can build up your own. So for people that, because I see people asking in the chat, Alex, that they are looking even how to apply to AWS SA roles, right? So SA, they need to have like one area of depth, right? So part of the T, and but they need to demonstrate even how they can connect the dots with business, right? So it's not only about technology. You can be depth in network, you can be still an SA, right? This is not, there is nothing preventing you to be a successful SA. You need to demonstrate all the time that you are capable to connect the dots between the business and technology, that you have an understanding. So your breadth in terms of knowledge is quite large, especially from business understanding and technology supporting the business. On the art side, every one of us can learn, especially in companies like AWS, but even not only AWS, even in my current company, lateral moves, expanding knowledge is part of the continuous learning, right? So it's really, really important that people, they have the right mindset and going in the continuous learning experience.
Oh yeah, especially at AWS, lateral movement is very often happen. It happens very often. One thing, and the other thing, I think it's even somehow appreciated by the company. So if you check, for example, my LinkedIn profile, you will notice that my time at AWS or Amazon in general was not in just one particular role. Yeah, so can we maybe just a little bit summarize and generalize there are some questions for other roles, related roles like business development, account management, consultant. Maybe we'll come back to that question, but can we summarize what makes actually a good SA? So what's that for hiring manager?
So a good SA. This is a very, very good question again, Alex. So a good SA, as I said, need to demonstrate to be passionate, need to demonstrate to keen to learn. So people that are coming with whatever experience, that during the interview are open to be challenged and not arrogant, pretending to know everything, they are the perfect candidates, right? As I said, demonstrating capabilities to understanding how technology supports business is another great attitude. I really like always people that they are capable to explain without using too much buzzwords how they solve a problem as business problem, right? I think that another great attitude to be hired as an SA is having the capability to use the STAR format. I guess that Alex, you spoke already in the BeSA program. What is the STAR? I think that one of the things that many times is happening that you meet a lot of great people with a lot of technology background, right? But they are not capable to demonstrate with data points what was the problem, how the problem was solved, right? And what was their contribution to the problem. So I think that following the STAR program is always the STAR methodology is always the best to demonstrate your capabilities and to not impress, but making the life of the hiring manager easier. So these are the things that I always suggest. So I saw before someone saying, "Oh, I have 15 plus year experience," right? Yes. With this data, I cannot make a judgment if you can apply for a senior role or just a role as a solution architect, because the year experience, yes, they are one parameter, right? But for example, complexity is another parameter. Impact is another parameter. So as I said before, when I was at AWS, I had the opportunity to interview almost 100 people, right, in 2 years, and I had the opportunity to interview really senior technologists. Capable to hire them because they were not able during the interview process to connect the dots. So not always the best technologies is the person that is hired. Make sense?
Right. That well, like you expect me to say now? No, not at all. Of course it does. Of course it does.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's an open discussion. So Alex, feel free to challenge me.
Yeah. So I mean, with SA role, I think we covered quite a lot of things, and you mentioned also important aspects of it. There is another question, though. I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask, because you're very into technical world as far as I know, but maybe you still have a perspective. If not, feel free to push back. You're not going to break our heart. Like for someone who wants to make a career either in business development, account management, consultant, like what we call business roles, maybe in cloud for enterprise customers, what level of knowledge would you expect for the cloud? Is it expected to be hands-on experience, or is it like certificates, or what's that? And don't start with it depends consulting answer.
So are we talking, just to understand a little bit better the question, we are talking about business roles, so not technical role, right?
Yeah. So business roles, but those are related to tech, right? So the business roles in tech, basically.
Yeah. Everyone that is working in a technology company like the Funk company, you need to have a sound understanding of technology, right? Sound understanding doesn't mean that you need to be always a developer moving to sales or to whatever, but you need to understand how cloud can help you or help the companies to move forward, right? Really connecting, again, sorry to use again the same wording, but really connecting, right? Because when you are in a business role, you need to talk the business language. Most of C-level, they are not interested to technology. I mean, I can say almost anyone is interested in technology at the C-level, right? Everyone is interested in say, okay, I need to grow my pipeline, grow my customer retention by 10%, or we need to grow our EBITDA by 2%. So you need to be able to demonstrate or to showcase how leveraging technology you can cope with these business problems, right? So having a sound understanding about cloud and what cloud can bring in the business context is mandatory. So to answer to your question, I don't think if you want to go in a business role, you need to understand clouds at the developer level, but you need to understand cloud technology can help companies to solve their business problems.
Thanks for that. So we have, as I said already before, we have quite a lot of things today planned. But we still have 3 minutes left. Let's try to pack 2 questions in those 3 minutes. So one is coming from the chat, and this is a little bit a sneaky one. And the person is basically worrying about like how to so that it's difficult to shortlist the resume because it's competitive market, and in order for resume to be shortlisted, it's kind of perceived to be a good move to pack skills into from job description into the resume. But then it might be the case that those skills are not really backed by the experience. Like how to defend that action then within the interview.
Yeah. So thanks for asking, Alex. This is a very tricky question. What I would suggest, and I guess that Jamila here can talk about this extensively. You need to really build network. You need to make sure that you understand what the hiring manager for that position is looking at. So that's why I'm always saying, don't just apply blindly to roles, right? Don't go, and I've seen in my career people applying for 10, 15, 20 roles, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. That doesn't sound great, right? So really to focus, really to try to find who is the hiring manager, really try to find or connect with a recruiter, right? Having a informal chat with them, having coffee chat with them, and try to really understand what are the core skill set that are looking for the job. Because if you look at the job description and you prepare your CV related to the job description, maybe you just waste a lot of time, because in the job description you can find some hard requirements and some nice to have, right? And sometimes the hard requirements are not negotiable. So if you don't have any of these hard requirements, don't try to apply or don't try to make it, because I mean, you will waste your time, you will waste time of the recruiter. They need to go through the CVs, right? So my advice, spend time to look at the job description, be self-critical, but don't underestimate the fact that you need to connect even with recruiters. At AWS, you can find a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn, on other social network. You can find a lot of hiring manager posting their hiring. I mean, even in my current company, I'm posting my current opening, right? So easy. I think that give you even an opportunity to understand which is the company culture. Because if you reach out an hiring manager and you don't receive any answer, I think that there is at least a yellow flag, because everyone is talking about the shortage of talent. And if you receive a message or whatever from someone that is interested to apply for a job and you don't spend time to reply to this person, I think that there is a problem. So please be careful about red and yellow flags. So if you are approaching an hiring manager that is posting on LinkedIn, on any other network, that is looking for candidates, you approach him or her in a politely way and you don't get any answer, please discard this company from your radar, because maybe it's not the right company for you.
Yeah, speaking of looking for recruiters, there's gonna be one just in a minute from now. And before we go, Marco, thanks a lot for sharing all this. Can you maybe tell a couple of encouraging words for the participants who are hesitant to apply? Because you know the bar is quite high to jump, and many just hesitate to click that apply button. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so I think that you need to be self-critical. You need to take time to reflect on yourself. You need to take time to understand what you want to do. So please plan your career. Don't jump in something that after that you say, okay, well, this was not a good move, right? Really plan your career. Think what are your strengths, right? And then if you think that your strengths are valuable for a particular job, a particular company, just apply. Use, as I said, some nice tips, right? Pro tips, trying to find the hiring manager, trying to find the recruiter of these companies, right? And trying to connect with them to understand or to double check if your beliefs are confirmed by the recruiter or hiring manager, and then just apply. Prepare yourself is the only way how to be successful, but preparing yourself means that you need to understand what you want to achieve and what are your strengths. Without that, any one of us will be successful in any interview.
Marco, thanks a lot from my side. Thanks a lot from BeSA team, and thanks a lot for the whole from the whole audience for joining us today. It was super cool to chatting you live, and yeah, a little bit like good old days, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for inviting me. So people are looking at me, how to find me on LinkedIn. I can just change here. You can find me easily. My surname is quite easy to find. So you can find my surname here, search on LinkedIn, connect with me. And Alex, really great to see how much passion you put on this, and all the team is doing great. I see a lot of people here commenting and being really involved. So this is a great to see that. I'm really looking forward for your success and helping you to find the right company.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So, Chris, with that, the floor is yours. Thanks, Marco.
Thanks, Marco. Thanks,
Thank you very
Alex.
much.
All right. So now up we have Viktoriya. So Viktoriya, I'm just going to put you on the screen as well. All right. And you are muted. So, okay, great. Viktoriya, thank you so much for being with us on Saturday morning. Really appreciate. Viktoriya is one of the AWS recruiter, and you know from the last sessions we know that you have a lot of questions for the recruitment process, how to best prepare, and you know Viktoriya is the best person to answer those questions. So she kindly accepted to be there. And Viktoriya, the floor is yours whenever you're ready. Go for it.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. It was really awesome to listen to Marco. Marco has already shared many topics that I will be speaking about today, but I hope that some information that I will be sharing with you will be helpful. First of all, I'm really admiring BeSA leadership team, what you are doing here, helping all the talents to succeed. This is really awesome. And of course, to all the talents out there, you are doing amazing. You are already on your way to become a real Amazonian. You are learning, you are curious, so keep it up. Now, let me share my screen, my presentation. Okay. So, okay, awesome, perfect. So, here's our agenda for today. So I will start with short introduction from my end, telling you a little bit more about who I am, what I am doing. Then we will be talking about hiring philosophy at Amazon Web Services to help you understand what we do, why we do that, and how we do that. And then, of course, we will be moving to discussing recruitment process overview, specifically from recruitment perspective point of view. And at the end, we will be talking about tips and tricks, specifically also on my personal experience, but on the experiences that I have based on my interactions with the candidates, how to ace your interview with Amazon Web Services. And I hope that we will also have some time for a questions and answers session at the end. A little bit about myself, who I am. So I am Viktoriya Syatkovska. You see that my first name, Viktoriya, is spelled a little bit different. This is due to me coming originally from Ukraine. It is from Cyrillic, translated from Cyrillic to Latin. I do have 9 years of technical recruitment experience in both agency and corporate. During my career, I recruited over 350 professionals in technical world worldwide, covering 4 continents, 21 countries. I've been working with Fortune 500 companies, Google companies, Nest, Cisco, some SAP consulting firms, etc. And now I am super excited to be an Amazonian for almost 1 year. I've started my career with North America region, and currently I am a part of EMEA team. Currently, I am recruiting for professional services team within Amazon Web Services, and specifically supporting our professional services team to hire and develop best cloud infrastructure architects, DevOps consultants, cloud application architects, etc. So let's get started. Hiring philosophy at Amazon Web Services, or Amazon in general. As you might have heard, we do operate at Amazon in a peculiar way. We do have 16 leadership principles that we are taking into consideration on daily basis whenever we are making our decisions. And it's not just something that has been written down and we forget about it. We really live it. And one of those leadership principles is hire and develop the best. So it means that each hire needs to be bar raising. And this is also the reason why Amazon or Amazon Web Services does invest into this process a lot. There are many parties that are involved in this process. We are focusing on hiring well rather than hiring quickly. Usually what I always say also to all the candidates, you are competing not with other candidates on the market, but you are competing with the bar that has been already set by current team. You are competing basically with current team members. We are always focusing on finding candidates who can best deliver on behalf of customers, right? We are customer obsessed, who personify our 16 leadership principles and are the best long-term fit at Amazon or Amazon Web Services. So we are hiring long-term talents who want to stay with us, who want to grow with us, and who want to build with us the future. We are always asking a question when we are making our decision. Is this candidate better than 50% of our current team? every person hired should be better than 50% of those currently in similar roles. So we are constantly raising the bar. This is also the reason why we are able to build such an amazing solutions and basically build the future of the world. Now, talking about recruitment process. So first of all, I would like to mention that we do have a process that in general, we are following Amazon Web Services wide, but there might be also some differences, and it might differ depending on the team or the position that you are interviewing for. So here today, we will be just covering it generically, but keep in mind, you will also always need to speak to your recruiter to understand specifically what is the process step by step for the role that you are interviewing for. As I mentioned, there are many parties involved into the recruitment process. There are recruiters, hiring managers, interviewers, and bar raisers. And specifically to bar raisers, I know that some of you might be asking, who are those? So bar raisers are objective third-party people, someone who is a tenured Amazonian and went through an extensive training, someone who has been interviewing a lot within our organization and is responsible to ensure that we are making an objective and bar-raising hiring decision. Do you need to know who is a bar raiser? No, you don't really. And I will explain you why. So the first step in the recruitment process, or the first step for you personally, is application, right? So you need to apply. Where you can do that, and there are several options. First, and the first option that I'm always recommending is go to our career page, because you can find all the positions that are currently listed. We never have any positions that are not listed on career page. FYI. I listed here also the links, how you can find those. There are also options to find job descriptions or openings on LinkedIn. There's one LinkedIn page, which is Amazon Web Services. And if you go to Jobs tab, then you will also be able to search for the position that you are interested in. Or you can also find another page on LinkedIn. It is Amazon Web Services Careers, and all the positions are also listed there. So I would highly recommend you to follow those pages so you can stay up to date. Now, when you want to apply, what you need to focus on. First and most important is intention. So ask yourself, what do I want to do next? So make your decision really intentional. Look intentionally, specifically on what you want to do next. Quality over quantity. I always tell the candidates, please make sure to focus on the positions that you are really interested in. Don't apply for as many positions as possible. So be also intentional and consistent about your decision. If, let's say, you are focusing or you're interested in data-focused roles, make sure that all the roles that you are looking for, they're really data-focused. And because, so what is happening in the on the background, we are also seeing what positions you are interviewing for, what exactly you are applying for. And of course, consistency is super important for us to see that you know specifically and exactly what you want to do next. Identify your fit. I know Marco was already answering this question from the audience. So basic qualification. This is the area that you always need to focus on, specifically on the job descriptions. Basic qualifications are objective and measurable qualifications that need to be visible and immediately identifiable on your resume. So you need to meet 100% basic qualifications to be able to apply and to be considered. So make sure to focus on that. Make sure to highlight that on your resume. And if you are meeting basic qualifications, you will be moved to the next step. Of course, if you have preferred qualifications, this is awesome. Please make sure also to highlight that so that the recruitment team can see those experiences immediately. Step 2, so you met basic qualifications, and now our team wants basically to move you to the next step. You would be receiving a call from recruiter. And very important, please check your spam folder. Oftentimes emails are landing in junk folder, and we try to reach you. Of course, we are calling you too, but if you know you are in the process with the recruiters, make sure to check your spam folder, but also make sure to know exactly what roles you have applied for. When recruiters are reaching out to you to discuss it, make sure that you know what they are talking to. So make your research, be prepared to really showcase that you are truly interested. So you had your call with the recruiter. They identified this is a good fit from a basic qualification perspective, and they want to move you to the next step. The next step, which is also optional, this step is not followed for all positions, Amazon or Amazon Web Services wide. There might be an assessment. So you would be receiving an automated email with an assessment from our system. It might be either work style focused. Basically, the assessment would be evaluating how you align with the leadership principles, or there might be also even work sample simulation. It is related to the job. Sometimes it can be combined. Just want to highlight again, this is not something that will be certainly a part of your interviewing or application process. It is optional. Again, check with your recruiter and make sure to check your spam folder, because this is an automated email and can land in your junk folder. The next step, or sometimes it is also simultaneously, you would be invited to a technical phone interview. Again, it will be sent from automated from our system. So you will be asked to submit your availability for a technical phone interview for 60 minutes, and it will be scheduled via Chime. You don't need to turn on your video. This is usually a phone call. It will be scheduled for 60 minutes, and you will be talking to a person from the team, someone who is already doing the job that you are applying for. There might be sometimes another person, we call them shadow. This is more for training purposes, but you would be speaking to one person only. So this technical phone interview usually is mostly focused around 70% on technical aspect, really evaluating your technical functional fit for the position. How does it align with your experience, and what experiences and examples you have. Another aspect that is also evaluated simultaneously in this interview is also, of course, soft skills based on leadership principles, right? So make sure to also, for this technical phone interview, to read through leadership principles, understand them, and try to incorporate into your answers some specific examples, how you demonstrated the qualities that are aligning with those leadership principles in the past. For example, when you're talking about any of your projects, you can always share an example with the interviewer, how you went above and beyond for your customer to provide the best solution. We are customer obsessed. We love to hear those stories. Or, for example, how you invented and simplified something on their behalf, and it had a big business impact. We love to see that too. Or, of course, how you learn something completely new on your own outside of your working hours. We all are learning, and we are curious, and we love to hear those stories. So there is one promise that we always give to the recruiters. You will receive outcome within 2 working days after your interview has happened. So just for your information, we have no feedback policy. Usually we don't provide detailed feedback. We provide results, outcome. It will be a yes or a no. And if this is a yes, congratulations, you are moved to the next and final step in the interviewing process, which is virtual on-site loop. It will be scheduled virtually. It will be via Chime. This time you will be turning on your camera. Exciting. You will be meeting also all your interviewers. You will see them. And you will be meeting with 5 to 6 interviewers. It depends on what level you are applying for or interviewing for. And the panel will include hiring manager for the role that you are interviewing for, a bar raiser or a bar raiser in training, a person who is going through the training to become a bar raiser. And besides that, you will be meeting with 3-4 other interviewers. Each will be scheduled for 60 minutes, and one person on the panel will be covering functional and technical fit for the role, and the rest of the interviewers will be focusing on leadership principles. Each of them will have 2 leadership principles to cover, to probe you for, and they would be asking you behavioral questions. And here again, we are giving a promise. We will contact you with the outcome within 5 working days after the interview has happened. And you will always get a call from a recruiter. So be on the lookout for that. There's one tip that I would like to give you or would like to share with you. So there are, of course, all leadership principles are super important for us. But there are 3 leadership principles that we certainly need to see in you as a candidate when we are interviewing you for Amazon or Amazon Web Services in general. Customer obsession is the first. So we are customer obsessed company. We are always working backwards from the needs of our customers, and we are always looking into the qualities if you also are aligning with that. Earn trust. It's super important. I'm always telling to all candidates, earn trust is a leadership principle, something that cannot be really coached. We are looking for transparency, for you being really, being able to build trustful relationship with your colleagues, with your partners, with your clients. And last but not least, be curious and learn and be curious. So all of them are universal, most important leadership principles for all roles, Amazon or Amazon Web Services wide. And I would always recommend you to already prepare your stories for those leadership principles, because you will prompt on that. And just keep in mind, all interviewers, when they are talking to you, they are interested in you being successful during interviewing process. So make sure to help them. So help them to help you. Already. So how to ace your interview with Amazon Web Services? Some tips, as I mentioned, based on my personal experience, but also on based on my interactions with the candidates. First and most important, preparation is the key. If you feel like right now in your life you have many things going on and you're not sure if you will be able to prepare, I would recommend you to maybe just wait and move it to the time when you really have time to focus on preparation. Preparation is really the key. Without preparation, I'm not sure if you can be successful. I did experience some people who were telling me that they haven't prepared, but they were successful. But to be very transparent with you, it's probably 1% of 100. So all candidates who have been successful, they've always prepared. Little extra, what do I mean with that? So oftentimes prior to your interviewing process, you are receiving names of the interviewers. This is your time to do your research. Check them on LinkedIn page. Do you check what they are doing, who they are within the business. So if you have the name of the person who you would be talking to, check them, understand what background they have, and try always to tailor your communication style based on their background. Sometimes you might be speaking on the loop with the people who are from business background. So speak business language to them. If you have technical people, of course, you can always speak technical language with them. And this way, it also helps you to customize your questions that you want to ask interviewers, right? It can be really customized, tailored based on their background. Crystal clear intro and concise communication is super important. Again, if you prepare your crystal clear intro and you practice this more often, it helps you to already set your interview for success. Because first, how you start your interview is always introduction, right? 2-3 minutes intro. This is really like an opportunity for you to showcase that you are a great fit for the position. And if if you prepare that, that helps you also to already open the conversation successfully. Concise communication is extremely important at Amazon, so that's why preparation is the key. When you prepare your examples, when you know what you want to talk about, it helps you already to be concise in your conversations. Know your why Amazon Web Services? This question will be asked, and it should be really tailored to your particular situation. Maybe you know someone at Amazon Web Services. Maybe you've been working with Amazon Web Services solutions for a while and you are a huge fan. So really be truly interested in that and showcase specifically why you are interested in becoming an Amazonian, why you are interested in joining Amazon Web Services. Amazon's leadership principles. So this is, again, a backbone of our culture. We are interviewing you based on leadership principles throughout the entire process. And this is actually the point where I would say that start your application process in general with understanding leadership principles, research them, understand them, and then you will see if this is really the right fit for you. Because again, we have a peculiar way, so make sure to understand and know all the leadership principles. STAR technique. So as you know, we have a very specific way how we are interviewing here at Amazon, and each interviewer will be always explaining you that they're expecting you to answer the question is in STAR technique. What is STAR technique? STAR speaks for situation, task, action, result. So you need to be concise in your conversation again. You need to start with explaining what was the situation that you were facing. Then you talk about tasks you needed to handle. Then you talk about actions that you particularly did on the project or in this situation. And you end your story with results, talking about facts, data, metrics that you took into consideration to measure your success. I form. So when you're talking about actions, something that is super important, you always need to speak in I form, not we, not the team, because this way, interviewer doesn't really understand. Are you talking about your particular contributions, or maybe it was a team effort? So make sure that you are communicating to the interviewers, I built, I solved, I approached, right? To showcase that this is that what you're talking about, it's really something that you've done. Be concise and talk data. Data. Amazon is a data-driven organization. We love data. We are looking for data. And the interviewers will be looking all the time for data. So speak data, please. It's super important. Don't shy away from failures. We, as Marco mentioned previously, we are self-critical, right? But we also take risks. We make mistakes, but we learn from them and we do better next time. We do always retrospective. So make sure that you're always also preparing an example or examples in general when you were able not to meet deadline or where you made a mistake. But of course, make sure that you are always explaining what you've learned from that and what would you do differently today. So that's also extremely important. Listen and clarify. That is also very important, really specifically listening to the question. Oftentimes, candidates try to understand, okay, the question that I'm receiving, what leadership principle does it align with? And it shouldn't be the way how you should approach your interview. I always recommend, don't try to align with the leadership principle, but just really listen to the question and answer that. When you are answering the question, then the interviewers will be able to collect the data that they are looking for. If you feel like you didn't understand the question, make sure to clarify, ask follow-up clarification questions. And once you understood that, then start to answering the question. If you feel like you got a question that you've never experienced before, in trust of your interviewers, be transparent. Tell them that you haven't had this kind of situation. And this way you will also, first, in trust of interviewers, right? Secondly, you will also give a chance to interviewers to ask you another question and to be able to collect the data they are looking for. And of course, be curious. Have your questions to the interviewer. At the end of each interview, you will always have some time, so make sure to have some questions. Showcase your interest, but then also to collect data for you personally to be able to decide, is this the right time for you to join the team, the position, etc. And of course, last but not least, ask for help. Be close to your recruiter. Your recruiter knows the best, the team they're working with, what is the need of this team, what they are looking for, how to prepare for your interview. So be close to them. But if you have also someone in your network, friends who are working at Amazon or Amazon Web Services, reach out to them, ask for help. They went through this process, so they know exactly, and they can give you tips and tricks to help you to prepare. So that's basically it from my end today. Thank you so much. And now, if we still have some time, I would like to open a Q&A session.
That was absolutely amazing, Viktoriya. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed, certainly.
Thank you.
So Alex and Prasad have been answering a lot of questions on the chat already, but guys, please, we can use an extra 5 minutes for you to ask more questions. So feel free to go ahead.
Questions you're most interested in now, so that we don't scroll viciously through the whole thread. That will be super useful for us. Viktoriya getting a lot of appreciation there on the chat.
Yeah.
Did I read it all? Thank you, Viktoriya. Thank you, Viktoriya. Thank you very much. Amazing session.
Thank you, everyone. I hope that I didn't repeat a lot of information. I hope really that it helps you. You are already doing an amazing job. So you're learning, you're curious. Just do that. Keep it up. We were asked to introduce ourselves. What else should be included? Yeah, a great question. Again, I'm always saying it should be very concise, 2-3 minutes rundown of your position relevant background, right? Look into basic and preferred qualifications and try to really concisely put it together. For example, you can start saying that I have around 10 years of experience within this area, and really specifically talking basically aligning everything that you are saying with the basic qualifications. If, for example, the job description is asking about your implementation experience, right? Then mention that I've been working on implementation projects for last 6 years. The clients that I've been working with are coming from this industry. If, for example, the job description is asking about some specific industry experience, so make sure to summarize, right? For example, on your LinkedIn profiles, you have the summary aspect, right? So try to align it with basic qualifications and talk about that. And of course, again, data. If you have some data, share that. Like, for example, if job description is asking for 6 years of experience, then mention how many years of experience you have it already. So I hope I answered your question here. Oftentimes you can see it in the job description. If you don't see that, then I would recommend you to really speak to the recruiter. They would know if this position does offer a relocation package. And for your information, oftentimes, specifically I can speak about Amazon Web Services, oftentimes we do indeed offer relocation and we provide sponsorship. So if you don't know if it is offered, just reach out to the recruiters and they will answer you this question. So even you as a fresher, you did some amazing stuff, and I'm sure that you have something to tell about yourself, something that you are passionate about. Already you are in this session, so you are learning, you are curious. You might have had some projects during studying that you were very passionate about. So there's always something that you can share about you, something that is exciting. And And again, I would always recommend you to think about leadership principles, right? Review them and think about Amazon being as a customer-obsessed company. We are looking for people who are learning, who are curious, and who are earning trust, and of course, all other leadership principles. But try to put together your story aligning with those leadership principles. So there is always something that you can mention, maybe something from your private life, something that you are doing. For example, even that you are, a part of BeSA community, or you are doing some certifications on your own. That is everything that you can always share with the interviewers, and I'm sure that it would also showcase that you are already on your path to become an Amazonian. This is an awesome question. Thank you, whoever asked that. So we would never question you why you applied for a position if, let's say, you are having more years of experience, right? We are not looking specifically on years of experience only, but really on the work you've done, business impact you've done, etc. But something that I would like to share with you, how we operate and how we evaluate the so probably firstly starting with, if you feel like you are applying for the role where you have more position relevant experience, then I would recommend you to check on our career page if there is maybe another position that would be more appropriate for your experience. So let's say you have 10 plus years of experience as a solution architect. Potentially, there might be a senior solution architect role that would be more suitable for you. So I would recommend you to apply for that. But to answer the question, basically, we are always evaluating what particular level within the organization would be best suitable for you. We are always interviewing you, not specifically for the role, but for Amazon or Amazon Web Services as an organization. Oftentimes we have up-leveling or down-leveling. What does it mean? We do have different levels within the organization. We have L4s, those are more for associates, then we have L5s, people with some experience who are already basically working on projects, also owning them. And then we have L6, who are senior professionals. For each level, of course, we do have our specific expectations and bars that need to be met during the interviewing process. And oftentimes, for example, if our team during the interviewing process does evaluate your experiences and everything you've shared with them, and they feel like within our organization, we would be more suitable on the level below or the level above, they would share this recommendation and we would continue our interviewing process for this particular role. So again, just to summarize, figure out if there may be another position that is better suitable for you, but we would never question you why you are applying for a role that is, that maybe does ask for less years of experience, because we are looking for the impact you were able to make. We are looking for your experience, and that's how we are evaluating your candidacy during interviewing process.
And one thing I would like to add here, like during the interview, we automatically, if we feel that you are better suitable for higher role, we do offer that, and vice versa. Even if you have, like, say, 20 years of experience, and if you're, applying for a very senior role, and during the interview you feel that you are an Amazonian fit, but not, a scope and the complexity of the projects you have done till now are not at the seniority level, then we might offer you a junior position. So that happens. So do not shy away from applying for positions for either junior or senior. So it will be taken care of.
So probably would like to start with firstly mentioning that Amazon or Amazon Web Services, we put a lot of effort into inclusion, diversity aspect. We do have also 12 affinity groups within our organization, basically for different minority groups where people can connect, where people can help each other, and where people also can amplify for each other. So to answer the question, yes, we do provide support. There are specific groups that you would be able to connect with the people to get also support, of course, from HR perspective. And I cannot go into very deep into this specifically aspect, but what I can certainly assure you that we have, for example, also chat with candidates program, for example. What does it mean? That we are offering our candidates to meet with someone from the specific affinity group that they are interested in, and this person can have a quick call with the candidate and share with them their objective experiences. How does it look like for them to work at Amazon or Amazon Web Services, what support they are receiving, etc. So this person is usually not someone from the team, not someone even maybe even from the specific organization, someone who can really objectively share their stories, their opinions, to help our candidates to make their decisions.
Amazing. Thanks, Victoria. I think it's time to take a quick break in this case. So as always, we have our lovely timer, and see you in 5 minutes.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Victoria. See you soon.
Best of luck. Bye.
For joining.
Bye.
Guys, congratulations, you have made this far. Like, everyone who has attended the sessions live or recorded, I hope it was useful for you guys. So like, as we have seen the previous slide, right? So we have a lot of success stories, and we have shared only just a handful of them. But irrespective of like what career like a path you are on, at whatever stage you are in your cloud journey, a BeSA program hopefully was useful for you. Whether you were like starting with your cloud journey, and BeSA program helped you in getting your cloud practitioner certification and getting onto the right path for learning cloud, or you were already you knew about AWS and you had some basic knowledge and you wanted to enhance it and get SA associate level or SA pro level certifications. I know that Ashish's technical trainings has been like at a SA pro level like trainings. So that's great. And then like, there were people who are able to land job at AWS. Like I know at least 4 people who have landed job at either AWS or other FANG companies. It's just that they are still in their notice periods and stuff, so we will be announcing them as and when they will be actually joining AWS. But during this whole course, there are at least 4 people who have reached out that they are successful. So that's really like a pleasing to hear. So now, like at whatever stage you are, think about how you can elevate your profile. You have gained a level of technical knowledge, but in case if you want to enhance your technical knowledge, right, there are multiple ways. If you need any resources, feel free to reach out to us on the BeSA group. We will be able to provide you the specific like workshops that you can do on your own in your AWS accounts. We'll be able to point you to the right like whether it is white papers or technical guides or the videos to help you enhance your knowledge. Think about what specialty you would like to achieve. Like, uh, after SA associate, either you want to become a generic solutions architect or you want to become a specific solutions architect. So think about what your specialty is, whether you want to go deep into databases, IoT, machine learning. Choose your, based on, like what your skill set is, what your interest is, where do you see in the long run. So like, as Marco said in his like one of the comments, right, that uh, do not think short term, think in a very long term manner, that where you want to be, and accordingly take your career decisions, and eventually everything else will fall in place. And if you need any help with resources, let us know. We will be able to provide you, or even we'll be able to connect you with the right specialists. Like if you want to dive deep into databases, like few of us do have expertise in that, and we can help you out. If serverless is your thing, then James, who was not able to join us today, but he is like a serverless guru here at AWS, so he will be able to like help you guys out. So think about in which area you want to expertise when it comes to technical aspects, and start diving deep into it. In terms of the courses, obviously Ashish technical trainings are great to help you, but in terms of if you want to take a specific certification course in Udemy, choose any one, like Adrian Cartnell, Stephen Marek, Ryan Kurenberg, Digital Cloud. So there are multiple of them, all of them are good. Take any one course and stick to it and follow through end to end. It's one thing, like and the next step would obviously would be like if you want to get a like a behavioral part and then getting a job at AWS. So like first get your technical basis correct, then get your like a behavioral part, and then job at AWS. For at each stage, preparation would be key, right? And this has been like iterated by like us multiple times, and even by Marco and Viktoriya. Um, Prepare well. There is there is nothing called over preparation. As like prepare as much as you can. Like we have a saying at Amazon, there is no compression algorithm for experience. That's because we are the longest running cloud, like a cloud. I say, like in a different context, that there is no compression algorithm for preparation. Everyone who is successful, they have always been over prepared, whether it is for like yeah, becoming a thought leader, or becoming a great public speaker, or like yeah, getting a job at your dream company. Always over prepare, you know and do not, like yesterday I was having a conversation with one of the person that like yeah, I got a call from like a recruiter. uh, I am, how much time will be I will be having to schedule the interview. I'm like, take as much time you need. Take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like I took 6 weeks between my phone screen and loop, because I knew that like I have a long journey to go, right? So take as much time you would like for preparation. Don't think that the position will get closed, because it's better that the position gets closed and you apply for another role, rather than like apply for that role and go for without preparation and get rejected. So take time for that preparation. So because if you get rejected, then it will be a cooling of like say for 6 months. But if you, because there are so many openings right now, if you are, even if you that particular position gets filled, you will have another position to apply for, right? So do not worry about the time that you need to take for preparation. And when it comes to behavioral, we are doing a lot of one-to-one mentoring. We try and like anyone who uh, we refer first of all to AWS, and if the person gets shortlisted and they are getting interview calls, then we do mentor them one-to-one. So feel free to reach out to us, and one of us will be able to help you in that direction. And yeah, thank you for filling the survey. We are going to look into all the comments, and then we will be, like see what next for BeSA, which is the next topic.
We'll be back. We will look at the feedback first, and the plan is to have another batch. In terms of timeline, we haven't decided on a timeline yet, but the team that you see here with Ashish and with James, we are talking about having the next session and how we can do more and how we can scale so more people can be covered. So we're discussing about the logistic and what should be included, and it's first of all based on your feedback and based on how much more we can do. Prasad, do you want to add anything else on that?
Yes. So there was, like I asked a question on the group, and there was, like some comments about, like uh, is there a way that they can get some hands-on experience? And Alex is working on something that might be helpful for a lot of people. It's like he's still working on it. Alex, if there is anything that you would like to like teaser, if not the details.
Teaser, right? So it's still work in progress, working thinking actually. So the idea behind it is to basically form teams or groups of folks, and then engage into some hands-on projects. So that could be like parallel to our streams, and the goal would be to, for those of you who would engage in that sort of activities, to gain some hands-on skills, and especially for those folks who've been asking about, like, what if I'm like in between careers, or what if I don't have enough experience, that could also contribute to your portfolio, so that you can also show what you actually has done, and we could formulate it in, well, we could format it in terms of an open source project, for example. So what I'm thinking about is basically having like an open source project where we could mentor you and technically lead the development of a solution, and then there you guys going to be the ones actually contributing and developing it. And if you're stuck, if you have like existential crisis, why it doesn't work or in which direction it should go, then we would be there for you. But as I said, so it's work in progress. So no commitments yet. We need to figure out how we will select people, how much time do we actually can then dedicate to such an activity, and so what we can actually hack together. So let's just stay tuned to LinkedIn group. So this is probably where, not probably, definitely, that's the place where we will announce things as we get more definite about them. And I'm going to read the chat because there is some feedback for it.
Great. Thank you, Alex. I see someone on the chat says, Ronnie, let's hear something from Jamila. She's been quiet for the whole session, and someone +1. So I decided to pick that question up and answer to everyone here. Yes, I'm quiet because I feel still sleepy and jet lagged because yesterday I flew from Boston to London, and in the morning, it was literally 4 minutes before our live, I woke up. That's why probably if you see on the recording the morning parts, you will see me still sleepy, not in a shape. So yeah, I'm still quiet, and I couldn't pick up the workload that team was doing the whole week. So I'm just in the background, just listening, looking, and just enjoying the ride with Marco and Viktoriya, and of course the whole team sharing useful information. But thank you so much for noticing it and bringing this up. So hope you all enjoyed the session, and I'm truly looking forward to our next batch and what is next for us as a team. We will discuss and we will come up with something great, I'm sure, for all of us.
One thing actually to mention though, for so Jamila, really stay with us just a little bit more. We're almost done.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'll get my coffee. I still haven't had my coffee. So you probably can notice it from my face. I'll have my coffee once our session is done. But I'll probably have start with double espresso, and then we'll go to black Americano.
Wow. All right. Yeah, like real quick thing I wanted to mention also, this will help you to drum up your LinkedIn profile and kind of show recruiters that you actually have hard skills you're showing on the profile. And also it will help us then to select candidates for that hands-on sort of part. So there's, if you go to the LinkedIn, you will see that for example, you give like Python as your skill or AWS, you can do an assessment and you'll get like a small badge that LinkedIn has verified that you really have this skill. So if you have like programming languages you can use, or like if you are proficient in one or another technology, don't kind of waste time. Try to pass that verification test, and this will also facilitate us selecting candidates.
Thank you, everyone. And we'll shortly announce what next for BeSA and when the next cohort would be starting and what we'll be focusing on. Stay tuned on the LinkedIn group. And please spread the word. Hopefully it was helpful for you and help us reach out to other folks.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. It's been amazing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.